Supervisor Scrivner.
First of all, Sheriff, thank you for all the information you provided. We're an hour in that you've been pretty much been sitting there the whole time, and we have, I think, 23 more presentations to go. So I just have one specific question about overtime. I noticed since the 2006-2007 fiscal year, overtime that year looks like there was about 443,000 hours, and then the next year it was 500,000 hours. But then in 08-09, that was reduced to about 270,000, and then down to 257,000 hours in the last fiscal year. And so the first question is, what drives overtime, and how was it reduced, and why was it reduced, and does that affect the level of service?
Supervisor Scrivner, through the chair. Yes, it does affect the level of service. However, there are things that are uncontrollable in fixed post positions, like in our jail facilities. There's a minimum number of people that have to work a shift to provide the care and custody of our inmates. When it gets to that level, and somebody calls in sick or somebody's on vacation, someone has to come in and fill that slot. So those are somewhat uncontrollable. In substations, we've learned that when you get a call at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, it's a call that we can call a citizen and say, is there any reason why we couldn't do this at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning? And generally they're happy with that as well. We've gone to some reporting of crimes on by the internet, on the computer. We've done a lot of things that to reduce our overtime, because we believed 3 or 4 years ago, well, when I first took office as sheriff, that the overtime was the tail was wagging the dog, and we my staff at our direction attacked that problem of overtime, and we've been very successful in reducing that number. It's not because of the sheriff necessarily, it's because the direction down to the supervisors, where they're given a certain amount of money in overtime. You as a sergeant control that money for the year. You're going to be held responsible for that. And that's something that wasn't done in the past. And when you hold those frontline supervisors responsible, they find innovative ways to get the job done without spending that amount of overtime. And that's how we've reduced it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Does the sheriff deputy schedule, is it three 12-hour days one week and then 4 12-hour days the next? Is that how that works? And if that's the case, that's 84 hours over a 2-week period. So does that mean there's 4 hours of overtime automatically every 2 weeks?
Yes, sir, even if they call in sick. In detentions, in operations, some are on 10-hour shifts and some are on 8-hour shifts. Without violating the meet and confer process, we are looking at every schedule that we work in the sheriff's office to find the most economical schedule that will help us save employee jobs at the end of the day. That probably isn't going to be met with a positive from employees, but we are looking at those particular shifts, 8s, 10s, and 12s, and we're going to come to a determination in the near future which one saves us money and which one we can do just as effectively and without going any further, because we are in the process of doing that.
I understand. Thank you.
Out here on the west side of Mojave, west side of 14 Freeway, the windmills are starting to come down off the hills out into the flat. That you see here is Burt Rutan's famous house, but the windmills now are obstructing the sunset that he got from when he first got here. Out here on 90th Street, a little bit south of Roseman Boulevard, first cutting alfalfa is being rode up so it can be baled.
Alex!
doing so far for softball this season?
I feel we've been doing good. We work hard. We try our best. We give it our all. And sometimes we lose, but that's a part of every game. And sometimes we make errors, and that's a part of every game. And I feel that if we just keep working hard, we'll become the best.
I'm on the 95 freeway about 15 miles south of Las Vegas. And I'm looking across the freeway, looking west at a solar energy project. Copper Mountain Solar, the largest photovoltaic field in the United States. Over 1 million panels make up this facility. Now the ground underneath the panels is graded, very flat, but not a single weed for miles and miles and miles. And you can see from the back of the panels that they're resting on an I-beam that's been driven right into the ground. These panels generate 77.5 watts all the way up to 78 watts, I believe. The wires from each panel run down the backs of the beams. Really, it's a pretty straightforward construction to put these things together. And you'll see there's absolutely no shine or no reflection coming off these panels. And it's a bright sunny day. In fact, there's not a cloud in the sky here. And from the back side, this is looking south. This is what 1 million solar panels looks like. This is step one in constructing a facility after the ground, of course, has been cleared. These are pounded into the ground 4 to 8 feet. Next step will be to set the tables to hold the panel. The last step is to actually set the panels on the tables.
This is a demonstration of Flip-Format.